Today we are here at Marazzo's in New Jersey, and we're doing a new series. It's called Fit for 50. So this is food for on a budget. We're going to show you kind of how to shop, how to eat for a week's worth of meals. And so I got 50 bucks, and let's see what we can find. I know it's Fit for 50, however, if I have enough, I'm gonna get one of these for my mom right here. Take a look. Not that one right here. All right, so one thing I have always been told and have noticed myself, that if you're trying to eat healthy, you wanna shop on the perimeter of the store. Usually that's where your fresh veggies are gonna be, your fruit's gonna be, as long as the good quality meats. Obviously there's a couple stuff in the middle, you can get your oatmeal and that type of stuff. However, trying to eat healthy, stick on the perimeter, avoid the aisles. Eating on the budget, however, I do like fruit in my diet. Bananas are really, really cheap. I know this is definitely a go-to staple for all bodybuilders out there. So let's grab 6. Still 1. 7, all right. Have some fruit, let's see what else we can get. So I know most people, they like having veggies in their diet. However, being we're Fit on 50, usually the first thing to go is usually the veggies. So you definitely have to have your carb sources, you definitely need your meat sources, and some sort of fat. So for my next one, being I got some fruit in there, that's something I don't want to cut out. So we're gonna check out the meat sources, see what they have, possibly on discount and sale. Chicken's always good, however, it's hard to buy it for a week. I feel it doesn't stay fresh long enough for a week. So I prefer, that's another reason why I always stick with like ground turkey, ground chicken. I feel like it lasts longer compared to like fresh chicken. Now if you're shopping for a couple times a week, fresh chicken breast is always a good option too as well. Ooh. However, it looks like an ad special. This looks like, got some good ground chicken. $2.99. So this one is right about a pound, 16 ounces. So however, when you cook it, you're gonna lose a few ounces. So maybe 16 ounces raw, but by the time you cook it down, maybe about probably in the 12 ounce range. So if we need this enough for 7 days, I need at least 70 of these, which should be about 5-6 ounces for 2 meals per day. So that's about what I have. All right, about 25 bucks. So we got 25 left. And let's go grab some eggs, see what they have. So it looks like we got another ad special on this one, and this is for, it says 100 count. Okay, so this is for a 12 count. So this one, I can probably get 2 of them, which equal about 3 eggs every day, not for 7 days. 2. All right, so now we need our carb sources. So I believe the carb sources, especially for oatmeal, is down this way. If not, we're gonna walk around this shopping center for a while. Almost there. Urge! Okay, so a couple different options. Some people like rolled oats, some people like steel oats. I like both. However, I like to mix it up. Lately, I've been having a lot of, I guess, old-fashioned oats. So this time, I'm gonna do cream of rice. Cream of rice, it lasted a long time. For servings, there's 9 servings in here. Obviously, need to last for 7 days. Nice thing about cream of rice, there's more carbs in it. So if you're wanting definitely a more carb source, it's super easy. It's almost like consistency of mashed potatoes. If you've never had cream of rice, it looks like kind of grainy, super little. I believe, see, so 1/4 a cup equals 36 grams compared to like a half cup. You add quite a bit of water, it just kind of balloons up. I like it, it's different. All right, so we need another carb source for our other meals, and we gotta find the rice aisle. Okay, different variations on rice. There's not much difference, in my opinion, between brown rice, white rice. However, I do prefer white rice, but if I'm gonna have it, I do like jasmine rice. Compared to like traditional white rice, it's too sticky to me. It doesn't have the best of taste. Sometimes it tastes kind of like eating dirt. So if I'm gonna have white rice, eat the same thing over and over again, I prefer jasmine rice. I feel it tastes better, cooks easier, just my personal preference. And this one, let's see, this is so 1/4 a cup. Their servings 20, obviously more enough for 7 days. Be good for obviously a couple weeks on this. All right, so everyone has their tips and tricks on keeping their food moist. For me, I use broth. Some people like chicken. I prefer beef because Obviously we're using ground chicken. Obviously you can use ground turkey for the actually absorb some of this beef flavor. And if you're eating the same thing over and over for weeks and weeks, trust me, that food gets old really, really fast no matter what seasoning or sausage you put on top of it. Also, by using this, it actually keeps your food moist. When I cook all of my food, I'll cook for enough for 3 days, a week's worth. I'll put in a big Rubbermaid container. When I heat up, just add a little extra beef broth to it. Keeps it moist. Change the flavor up too. And I can't eat the same thing over for weeks and weeks. If you've ever done a bodybuilding show diet, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's super cheap. Obviously, when I get close to show, I pull it out because it's a little bit high in sodium. But the first few weeks, doesn't really matter. Let's get some peanut butter though. All right, so everyone has their personal preference on peanut butter. I usually mix mine on some bread if I ever have it, but it's also good to add to your oatmeal. In my case, this week I'm having cream of rice. So it also blends really well with it. I'm old school. I like the Jif, even though it's $3.19. Those easily last me a week. So they're served 2 tablespoons, servings, 14, 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half. All right, last but not least, I'm a huge gummy fan. So we got everything we need here. I think we have just enough left over. I'm gonna grab some sort of gummy treat. I'm always big on like the gummy worms. I love the Haribo Cola bottles, but I don't see any. So I think I'm just gonna get some sort of gummy thing. Ooh, they do have the bears. You have gummy bears? So that's gonna be my treat to myself. And I may share, I may not. So we got a week's worth of food, we got some of our fats, we got carbs, we have breakfast. I usually do about 2 meat meals a day. I filled in with about 3 shakes, so it looks like everything we need. Plus, I got my gummy bear snack. And so let's go. Let's go check out, see if we made under 50. Oops. 44, check that out. Maybe we get one of these for Angry Dad, because he's not him when he's hungry. We get one of these. Still 45, still under 50, and got 2 treats. All right, so we just got done shopping for the Fit for 50. So today we're back here and I'm gonna show you how to prepare the meals. We got everything from breakfast to lunch, dinner, snacks, and shakes in between. So I'll show you how to prepare it. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna start with, because it takes the longest to cook, is the rice. And so a trick for rice, everyone always has how much water should you add, not add. Actually, I knew a Japanese guy from Japan, lived there many, many years. He says the trick for perfect rice, any type of rice, you basically put water up to the first digit of your finger. So up to the first digit. So basically put your finger there until you touch the rice. That's why the first digit. And actually I've used this every single time. My rice has come out perfect. So it works. We're gonna cook our ground turkey. Sorry, ground chicken. We'll get this cooked. All right, and so for the chicken, like I said before, I like using beef broth. There's turkey broth, there's chicken broth, there's even vegetable broth. For me, I personally feel it keeps the moisture in, also makes it taste also ground chicken or ground turkey, whatever you're eating for that day. And I moved over here because I feel like I'm a little messy when I cook. I feel I may ruin this table. All right, so this one has a little bit of beef broth in there. My preference is beef broth over this one. You can see just a little bit in there so it pools, not too much, and as I cook, the food will absorb it too. And so most protein sources I do, especially for off season, I like doing a mix of beef, I'll do ground turkey, I'll do chicken. However, since we're on the Fit for 50 budget, I did want to keep under the $50. So for this time, the best budget for this one was the ground chicken. And actually the ground turkey at that time was more expensive. So however, my off season, if I had a little higher budget, I do mix in ground beef or steak into my diet plan. So while it's cooking, I'll show you a couple of my favorite seasonings. One is a lime salt. A lot of people like limes, like fresh limes. However, like, you know, it's hard to travel with them. They get smashed. They're not going to last that long. So this is actually dehydrated limes. That's all there is to it. Adds a little kick to it. My go-to one is this garlic salt. Definitely one of my favorites. You can fix almost anything bad with this. It's great for chicken, it's great for beef, ground turkey, ground chicken. This is definitely my go-to. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of salsa. I'm not a spicy person, so I don't do any sriracha, I don't do any hot sauce. It's my personal preference, so these are my definitely go-tos. I prefer this over salt, just my own thing though. Okay, so the ground chicken as well as the rice is done. So I'm gonna portion it out and kind of show you guys what I do. So we have a scale here. I go by ounces, some people go by grams. All right, you got 6 ounces of ground chicken. So I'm gonna get a half a cup of rice. And 6 ounces of ground chicken is right about 30 grams of protein. Half a cup of rice, you're looking right about 25 grams of carbs. All right, so that would be 1 meal. I'm gonna make it 2 of these. All right, so this would be the meals, the 2 meals I have, one for lunch as well as one for dinner. And now I'll show you guys how I cook my breakfast. All right, and so we got the cream of rice instead of the oatmeal. So for this one before, it's 1/4 a cup and equals about 36 grams of carbs. And protein is about 3 grams, not too much though. All right, so this one, unfortunately, I only have a half a cup, so I'm gonna have to eye this one. About 1/3. Done. On this one, actually with cream of rice, you're actually gonna add more water than you actually think necessary. Oatmeal, you always have right about the top. Cream of rice, you actually add quite a bit more than you think necessary. If you don't, it turns almost like hard mashed potatoes, looks like, and kind of turns into clay form. All right, so I'll show you what this looks like. So this one is what it looks like when it's dry, not cooked. Looks like there's quite a bit of water. However, when we cook it, it's gonna change consistency really fast and absorb a whole bunch of this water. And then when I cook mine, I cook it at first about 2 minutes, and from there I do about every minute increments. As it starts cooking slow, but once it starts cooking fast, it speeds up really, really quick, and you can overcook it pretty easy. So the cream of rice is done. You can take a look at it if you want. All right, so this one, occasionally I'll do Jif peanut butter it. I'm sure some people are saying is why it's not natural, why is this? It's just my personal preference. I don't have it every single day. This is just what I like. So on this one, for 2 tablespoons, calories is 190, fat 16 grams, protein 7, carbs are 8. I'm not too worried about the fat right now, especially with it being off season and I being having an ectomorphic type body. It's hard for me to gain weight, so this is something I'm not worried about. However, when my diet comes around, definitely will not be having any peanut butter. All right, so if this isn't really enough to fill you, I'll also do like 3 egg whites with this. Sometimes I do want fruit. Banana's a good source for me. Medium banana, you're looking about 30-ish carbs, give or take, depending on the size of it. So I like fruit in my diet. This is something as a go-to one. It's also not too expensive as well. Next step, we're gonna cook the egg whites first. And this one, we got 2 cases, and that allows us about 3 egg whites every day for lasts us for a week. And this one, I'm using a little bit of non-cooking stick spray. Some people prefer olive oil. I personally think it's that big of a difference. And however, eggs like to easily stick, as you know. Per each egg white, you're looking about 3.5 grams of protein. So for 3 eggs, you're looking about 19 grams of protein right there. So let that cook. The meals are done. The next step is the 2 protein shakes. So I do 2 mass gainer shakes, one in the morning, one before I work out. However, I do 1 shake before I go to bed, 1 casein shake. So we'll do 2 mass gainer shakes first. All right, so for me and my body type, this is what works for me. I know a lot of people out there, especially girls, wouldn't do mass gainer shakes, and people are probably wondering, you should probably eat more real food sources. I have done that. However, for how fast my metabolism runs, I actually need a higher caloric intake than how much food I can eat. I'm not the type of person where I'm always hungry, so I can't eat that much real food. I know real food is obviously the best option. When I do my show preps, I cut out all of my shakes and I only have real food. Like I said, I cut out fruit, I cut out dairy, and I cut out all processed type of carbs. However, off season, it's really hard for me to bulk. So this is what works for me. If you have your own way that works for you, stick with it. All right, so this is the Real Gains one. My favorite flavor is the chocolate. However, the vanilla is really, really good. Definitely French vanilla flavor. A lot of companies, I've tried vanilla flavor. They tend to mess it up. However, Uni-vite has done an amazing job on the vanilla flavor too. So if you don't like chocolate, try the vanilla. So 3.5 scoops for this one. Calories is 602 calories. Fat is 6 grams, which isn't too bad. Your carbs are 84 grams and protein is 53 grams, and I do 2 of these a day. And then sometimes in the morning, if I'm not wanting to mix in my peanut butter with it, I'll do 1 scoop of that as well in it. So I got my 2 mass gainer shakes, and my last shake I have before I go to bed is a chocolate casein shake. Okay, so this will be my food today. This would be breakfast right about 8 o'clock. 10, 11, I'll have a mass gainer shake. 12, 1, I'll have a meal. Before I work out, about 2, 3, I'll have another mass gainer shake. During my workout, I'll have the Carb Plus. I used to do 2 scoops Carb Plus, about 1 and 2 scoops my BCAA stack. About 6, usually more like close to 7, I'll have dinner. Right before I get to bed, about 9, 9:30, I'll have my last shake of the day, casein one. So this is what a typical off-season diet for me looks like for one day. My show prep's a little different. This works for me. It's really high in calories. It's really high in carbs. This is what my body needs to put on size. And that is Fit for 50.